I grew up fly fishing and swimming, so I'm really excited to bring you this neighborhood tour video today. We're going to be showing you many different subdivisions that all have private access to lakes as well as ponds like the one behind me here. We're going to be showing you the pros and cons of these neighborhoods. We're going to be showing you the distance to things like downtown Durango, great hiking trails. We're going to be showing you some of these neighborhoods that have private access to trails as well, and much, much more. Let's jump into it. By the way, guys, my name's John Bird. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. As much as I love shooting these videos, I even love more helping you with your real estate needs. So if you're even thinking about moving to Durango or Southwest Colorado, give me a call or text. Happy to connect and help you out. Let's jump back into the video. Now, the first neighborhood we are in is called The Ranch, and right behind me is Fawn Lake. There's Fawn Lake, Bear Lake, and about 24 other ponds all throughout this neighborhood. What's really incredible and unique about this neighborhood, unlike any other in this entire county, if I'm not mistaken, is there's so many ponds, and all of these ponds, or the majority, are surrounded by homes. So the majority of homes are on some sort of water. And as you can hear behind me, there's water flowing and throughout this entire neighborhood. There's little kind of creeks going throughout, connecting all of these ponds. Now, about half of these ponds are stocked with rainbow trout. We're actually going to be stocking it this week, or the neighborhood's going to be stocking it this week. And some other things about this neighborhood that I think are just incredible is they have access to a 30-acre nature preserve. That nature preserve has cottonwood trees throughout it, really nice little forested area. Then it opens up into this nice big kind of pasture area with the Hermosa Creek running right through that nature preserve. So you have private access to that Hermosa Creek that runs into the Animas River. So something that a lot of people don't know about this neighborhood is you have access to the Animas River to paddleboard. So you can take your paddleboard down. It's a little bit of a walk, but you can take your paddleboard down to the Animas River and paddleboard from there and take out at Dalton Ranch, which only takes roughly an hour, depending on how long you want to take on that trip. Now, a few cons or just some things to consider about the neighborhood is that most of the homes are not allowed to have fences, although you can have decks and you could have deck fencing on that deck, but you really can't have many fences throughout here. There are a few lots that back up to the nature preserve, and there's a few other bigger lots called ranchettes that are 3-acre lots in here that can have fencing. And a lot of those lots, or a few of those lots, have stunning, stunning views. I'll actually turn around and show you those views. You can see behind me the views of Missionary Ridge, and absolutely breathtaking views there. And you'll see elk in that pasture. That pasture right beyond us is James Ranch, and you'll see 40, 50 elk back there. You'll see a lot of deer. You'll see turkey vultures, hawks, eagles. You'll see so many different animals and wildlife back there as well. Then they also have pickleball courts. They have a basketball court. They also have a great little area for RV storage that is fenced in, and you have private access to that. Now, of course, you have to reserve that and make sure that there is room, but when you're looking at homes here, we can check into that for you as well. Then there's also a nice big park-like flat grass area that borders on Bear Lake, which is the second big lake that's in the neighborhood. So this neighborhood is very, very unique in a lot of ways in that it's got that park-like area, it has access to the Animas River, it has the Hermosa Creek going right through that 30-acre nature preserve. You have a picnic bench in that nature preserve, so you can go over there and have a nice picnic. Then you have several different types of homes in here. I didn't mention earlier, but you have some townhomes, you also have single family homes, and you have a lot bigger homes that are on 3-acre lots that are looking out at that stunning, stunning view of Missionary Ridge. So there's a lot of diversity throughout the homes here. They also are planning to do a little bit more development later on towards the end of 2025 into 2026. So reach out to me if you really like this neighborhood, and we will find you a home in this neighborhood. Before we head over to the next neighborhood, let's put on the screen the distance to a few hiking trails, or we'll just put those on the map and show you. You literally, right across from the neighborhood, you can see a really awesome hiking trail called Halfland Creek. It goes straight up Missionary Ridge. There's 2 trails that go right up Missionary Ridge up to the top. Then across the street from you, you drive about 3 miles up the road and you've got Hermosa Creek as well as Jones Creek trails. Hermosa Creek goes about 30 plus miles all the way over to Purgatory Ski Resort area. So you've got some great trails right around you, really within biking distance, I would say. If you're a long distance runner, you could run it, but they're really, really close. And then you're right down the road from James Ranch as well, which has, in my opinion, the best burgers in town, but that's of course up for debate. Then you're also fairly close to Purgatory Ski Resort. You're kind of right here in the middle of the Animas Valley, actually closer to the northern end of the Animas Valley here. And so you're much closer to Purgatory Ski Resort, but we are still at lower elevation. So we're not getting the kind of snow that Purgatory is getting. We're really getting similar snow to in-town Durango here. Let's head over to the next. All right, now we're over here at Lake Purgatory. So we came up the road north of the Animas Valley, and we are almost across the highway from Purgatory Ski Resort, and we are across the highway from the Nugget. We'll throw up on the screen some of their awesome burgers, some of their awesome food, and it's actually not the Nugget that's serving the food, it's the Backcountry Gourmet Grill. Highly recommend checking them out, but the Nugget serves some great local beer as well. Really fun, nice spot to hang out. And I just want to emphasize that because there's not a lot of restaurants around this area, around Lake Purgatory and the neighborhoods up here. So I want to emphasize that there are some in the Nugget. The Backcountry Gourmet Grill is one of them. Now, pros and cons of this area, it is much higher elevation, so you're going to get a lot more snow. Chains are required in here during the winter. It is a little bit steeper road, kind of this rolling hills road in here, but climbs in elevation as you go back into the neighborhood. All dirt roads in here, nothing is paved. So that is kind of your con in here. If you really don't want that, if you don't want to have four-wheel drive vehicles, this neighborhood is probably not for you, but it does absolutely have breathtaking views in here. It's got the access to this gorgeous lake here. They have fishing, they allow paddleboarding, boating, kayaking. There are certain rules behind that, but this lake is stunning. Then some other kind of pros and cons of this neighborhood is densely forested lots. A lot of these lots are kind of edge of the cliff type of lots. So if you have kids, you want to just be careful to look at the specific property that you're looking at and just make sure to kind of take a look at what that topography is like, because a lot of this is very steep terrain. Another thing I love about this neighborhood is just the proximity. I just mentioned the proximity to Purgatory, but you're right in the mountains here. So you're very close to tons of amazing hiking, lots of great biking, hiking, snowshoeing, and many other things. Then the other con, potentially a con, is you're about 35 minutes to downtown Durango. Again, I mentioned we are at higher elevation and you're getting close to 300 inches of snow per year, to give you kind of a number on that, as again, you are right across the street, almost across the street from Purgatory Ski Resort. Now, some other things, you're gonna get some phenomenal views of Combine Lake, Hermosa Cliffs, Spud Mountain, as well as Western Needles and Electra Lake from some of these lots. So the views here are very hard to beat, but then there are some homes in here that are really just tucked in the forest, so you're really just gonna get that forest feel. So overall, I think this area is stunning, and there aren't a lot of neighborhoods with lakes that actually allow you to get out on the lake, paddleboard, fish, swim in the lake, really use that lake to its fullest extent. So keep that in mind as well as you're looking at Lake Purgatory. Lastly, I want to mention that we just listed a gorgeous property in this subdivision. While I'm talking about it, we'll put some of the video clips up on the screen, show you a little bit about this property. This property is 30 Aspen Circle. It's about 7 minutes from the entrance of the neighborhood. It's 2664 square feet, has some really stunning views of those mountains on the other side of us there. And again, only about a 7-minute drive to Purgatory Ski Resort, approximately, depending on the season. And this home was built in 2022, so you're getting a really nice new home, over 2,600 square feet. And if you're at all curious about checking this one out or any others, reach out to us. Like I mentioned earlier, my name is John Burden. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado, and would love to help you with all of your real estate needs, as well as checking out this home or any others. Let's move on to the next neighborhood. The next neighborhood we are at is Lake of the Pines. So we came down the highway by about 1 to 2 minutes driving distance, and then came back into this neighborhood. So as you can see behind me, as I turn around here, there are dirt roads throughout. So you are still going to have that risk of ice and mud and just that concern of those dirt roads regarding pros and cons. Keep in mind, compared to Lake Purgatory, you don't have as steep of roads and as steep of driveways as Lake Purgatory, not nearly as much. So that is definitely a pro. And what I love about this neighborhood is you have some stunning views from most of the homes. Now, not all of the homes, there's still a handful of homes that are just kind of forested lots and they don't have much views. So there's, you know, maybe 50% have those nice views. And then there are some homes that look right onto this lake, only a few. And then there are a handful of homes that look out at some stunning views as well, but are those kind of cliffside edge type homes as well. So it really varies, kind of similar to Lake Purgatory, but still not the same but still a lot flatter lots, generally speaking. Then some views of Hermosa Cliffs, Western Needles Mountain, as well as Spud Mountain. And then you've got a lot of fir, white fir, blue spruce, and aspen trees throughout here, as you can see behind me. And again, you've got some of the similar concerns from Lake Purgatory, like the elevation, just getting a lot more snow. You've got similar distance to downtown Durango, close to 33 minutes to downtown Durango, but you're still really close to Purgatory Ski Resort. So I really think this is a stunning location. You've got, again, this really pretty lake that's fun to bring the family. And what I love about this too is you've got a little sandy spot here. There's not a lot of beach really, but there's little sandy spot here, and this is stocked with trout. You can kayak, you can paddleboard, you can fish in this lake. Reach out if you want those details, those HOA details, or any other information about this subdivision. But as a whole, I'd say it's relatively similar to that Lake Purgatory neighborhood in that forested, has this lake, has similar type lots, but flatter in general. All right, while we're here, we're going to talk about a few other neighborhoods. The next neighborhood on the list is Celadon. Now, Celadon is a very coveted neighborhood, has very large lots with stunning, breathtaking views. A lot of these homes are either on private ponds or on the Animas River and have crazy good views. So they'll see all the way to downtown Durango or in town Durango, and they'll look up towards Purgatory, and some of these homes will have views of Engineer Mountain. So if you're looking for a home with views and water, this neighborhood is it, and those price tags are up there as well. So let's talk a little bit more specifics. This is kind of at the most northern end of the Animas Valley. As you're going across Baker's Bridge, you drive for another 1 minute, 30 seconds, and then the gate to this neighborhood is there on your left. And it's just kind of unassuming in this forested area. But then as you drive in here, you get into these really stunning estates. So we're looking at about 35 to 70 acre lots, and you are going to climb in elevation. So starting down at the lowest elevation, these lower lots, they're going to get less snow, but as you climb up in elevation, of course, you're going to get more snow at these lots that are higher up. Now, something that's very hard to come by is Celadon actually backs up to National Forest. So they back up to the trails in National Forest. So you've got access to hiking, horseback riding, cross-country skiing, wildlife viewing. You're going to see all kinds of different animals in this neighborhood, and of course in the National Forest, from bear to elk to deer, eagles, many different birds. It's going to be really amazing to be able to just have that National Forest right out your back door. Then Celadon has on-site management. So they have snow removal, security, maintenance, and optional services like airport pickup as well. Then up to 12 horses are allowed on select lots. So again, reach out to me and I can get you those details depending on the lots. Then shared irrigation rights throughout the Celadon Ditch Company. Then, like a lot of these subdivisions that we're talking about today, Celadon is going to be on well and septic, but they do have utilities regarding electric, natural gas, and phone. And then again, I mentioned earlier, but this is gated entry and full-time on-site manager for security and maintenance. Now let's talk a little bit about the location. We will put up on the screen the distance to downtown Durango, but you're not nearly as far as you are where we're at right now, over in Lake of the Pines or Lake Purgatory. But what's really nice is you're still really close to Purgatory Ski Resort. We'll put up on the screen, I believe we're under 20 minutes to Purgatory Ski Resort there at Celedon. And of course it does vary based on the address of the home, because if you're in that back portion, you know, you've maybe got 5-10 minutes of driving in the subdivision itself. So really does vary on that. Always want to mention that, and that goes for all of these neighborhoods we're talking about. We do try to put up that disclaimer on the screen for you there. Now again, equestrian friendly, You're backing up to the San Juan National Forest. You've got access to river or ponds depending on the lot itself. These are all private lakes and ponds, as well as private access to the Animas River. So it is very hard to come by this kind of combination of all of these different things that Celadon offers. First, regarding location, second, regarding those views, then regarding the access to water, as well as the access to the National Forest. So you're gonna see that in the price tag, but you're getting just about everything you might dream of and everything that a lot of my clients are asking for when they're looking at Durango. Now, if you didn't know, there's ridges in the Animas Valley. So you've got Missionary Ridge, and then you've got these ridges on the other side, red crimson cliffs on the other side of you. And if we go over that, you've got Falls Creek Ranch, a really nice neighborhood that's mostly forested lots. They're round circular lots. You've got 940 acres total in this neighborhood. 100 of those are circular lots. Kind of odd, I know, but that's how they set them up, so that they could kind of have space between neighbors, but you could still have this kind of community feel here. But these lots do vary. So you do have some lots with some of the most breathtaking views of the Animas Valley, as they're right up on that edge of that cliff, looking out all over that Animas Valley. But that's only maybe 5 to 10 homes or so. So the majority of homes are kind of in these forested lots. Some are kind of rolling hills. Some are fairly steep lots, but the majority are not very steep. Keep in mind that you are going to get a lot more snow here than in town Durango, as you are up above 7,000 feet elevation. But you're not nearly near the elevation of these other areas that we talked about earlier in the video, like Lake Purgatory, or where we're standing at right now, Lake of the Pines. Now, they do have a stunning lake in this subdivision as well, and what I love about this subdivision's lake is they have a really nice beach. They have a nice area where you can put boats, paddleboards, and store them. They have a nice picnic bench right there as well, and they've got a dock. They have some little areas out in the water that you can stand on and play on. You can swim here, paddleboard, kayak, and then in the winter, they even have ice skating out on the ice. They also stock this pond, or lake, I should say. And then up into the neighborhood, it is paved, and then internally it turns into dirt roads. These dirt roads are fairly well maintained, but keep in mind, some of these roads do climb in elevation a little bit, and so I really do recommend having a four-wheel drive vehicle in this neighborhood as well. Now, a lot of these homes are really gorgeous, exquisite homes, but some of these were built back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So you do have some homes in here that you're gonna wanna renovate, and it just varies based on age of the homes, but most of these are not newer homes. Now, these homes are going to be on septic and propane, but what is very unique about this neighborhood is it is central water, so you aren't going to have to worry about drilling a well or maintaining a well. Now, they also have an extensive amount of trails throughout the subdivision. So just to kind of summarize, what I love about this neighborhood is you have those trails throughout the neighborhood, but then you also have some other trails as you leave the subdivision, and you have some trails that can get you down into the Animas Valley. So there's trails kind of all around you. Then you've got this really nice pond, and what I love about the pond is it's stocked. They allow paddleboarding, they allow swimming, they allow kayaking, they allow a lot of different things that a lot of other neighborhoods don't allow. And then they also have stuff like ice skating. They have an equestrian facility as well. And you have these nice 1 acre circular lots. So although they aren't bigger lots where you can fence them in and kind of have your own animals, you do have the ability to have those horses at the equestrian facility. You do have access to that pond. You have access to trails. It is a little bit further to town. That is one reason, one con to some of my clients. We will put that up on the screen right now, the distance to town. But overall, I think this neighborhood should definitely be on the top of your list, or near the top of your list, if you really like the idea of having a little bit of space as well as access to a lake. I know we're over here at two different subdivisions, Lake Durango and Lake Durango Estate. So when we talk about them, we'll kind of combine some of the features of both of them, as they're very, very similar. And we're just west of downtown Durango. We'll put up on the screen the distance to downtown Durango from here, but we're really close to downtown Durango compared to a lot of other subdivisions. What I absolutely love about this subdivision, as you can tell, is the lake is right behind me. This lake is really pretty and has some nice views of the La Plata Mountains on this other side of me here. And something else that's great about this lake, like a few other neighborhoods I mentioned, is you can swim, you can paddleboard, you can fish, you can canoe, you can kayak, you can do a lot of different things in here, unlike a lot of other neighborhoods with lakes where there's a lot more restrictions. Now, keep in mind there are covenants and we can get those to you, so reach out if you want to see those specifics on what you can do in this lake. But this is a really amazing, beautiful lake, and it's a really nice sized lake as well. It does provide a lot of the water to a lot of homes around here as well. Now let's jump into the lot sizes in here. You're ranging from about 5 to 35 acres. So there's about 20 lots that are about 5 acres, and then there's some lots that go up to 35 acres. Now there are dirt roads in here, and right over my shoulder there is a home that's on the market right now. So actually while we're talking, we'll scroll through some of the photos on the screen and show you what that home looks like. So if you like that home, if you like this area as we're talking about it, reach out to me. I'm happy to show you that home or any others, of course. As I mentioned earlier, my name is John Burden. I'm a licensed realtor here in Southwest Colorado. We'd love to help you with all of your real estate needs. And something else I really like about this neighborhood, first of all, it's kind of that combination. You're close to town, you've got this lake access, then you've also got fairly flat, usable lots that also have forest on them. Then something I also really like about this neighborhood is you've got this combination that you don't see in many places. And that combination is you've got fairly flat lots, but you also have some nice pine trees on them. So there's a lot of land out here that is either flat and kind of barren without trees, or it's very hilly and very forested. So you usually don't get this mixture of both that you do see out here in Lake Durango. Then these homes are in central water, which is something that's fairly rare when you're looking at properties with 5+ acres, especially as you get up to that 35 acre range. You rarely see central water. Then the homes are on septic, so septic and central water. And this neighborhood does allow horses with some restrictions. So again, reach out if you want to hear what those restrictions look like. The next neighborhood we're going to talk about is Florida River Estates. This neighborhood is east of town, just past the Edgemont subdivisions and not very far from town. We'll put up on the screen the distance to town. And we'll also put up on the screen the distance to Horse Gulch, because there's kind of a back way to get to the Horse Gulch biking trail system. And a lot of people don't know that, especially if you don't live here. So let's put that up on the screen now. We'll give you an idea that you can get to some great biking and hiking from this neighborhood pretty quickly. So I just want to cover that first, then tell you the reason that I really love this subdivision. First of all, they've got 2 ponds. Of course, that's what we're discussing today, those lakes. But then they also have the Florida River running right through the neighborhood, and there is a fishing easement for owners, even if that river is going right behind somebody's property. So you have access to fish that, and it is great fishing. The ponds are really amazing. They've got some nice area around the ponds to just hang out, set up chairs, have lunch. Really nice area, and just really, really pretty with those ridges around you. Now, one of the cons of this neighborhood, cons and pros really, is that you've kind of got ridges around you. So it's pretty, but you don't get any views really, other than those ridges. You don't really get any mountain views. And it is going to get less sun in this area as you're kind of tucked in this valley. So you want to be conscious of that, and that's okay for a lot of people, but you just want to be aware of it. Then something that's really amazing about this neighborhood is it is on central water, although it is septic. So again, it is hard to come by central water as you get away from town. So that is really nice to see here. Now the neighborhood does have gravel, dirt roads, but there is no HOA. So they do take care of the plowing. There is an agreement to take care of plowing, but there is no HOA. So again, that is tough to come by. No HOA, the combination of the no HOA, having central water, having those ponds, having the river going right through it, and still being close to town. I really think if you like a lot of those items, you should put this area on your list. Then a few other things I forgot to mention is that I really like this neighborhood because it does have that kind of combination of flat lots combined with having those pine trees. So you're not just flat with no trees, and you're not just tucked in the forest. You have a little bit of that combination. Now there are some homes in there that have a little bit of a steeper lot, but for the most part, these homes are on flatter lots. Then the other thing I want to mention is some of these lots do allow horses. It does depend, but reach out to me if there's a specific lot or property you're looking at, and happy to show it to you or get more information regarding horses. All right, now we're gonna head south of town to another one of my favorites. And as you can tell, I really like all these neighborhoods. I'm not just saying that because I love the fact that you've got water here. You've got the ability to paddleboard, fish, just use that water. just like you probably want because you're here in Colorado. And so the next one is a Rancho Florida. This neighborhood isn't too far from town. We'll put up on the screen the distance to El Rancho Florida. And a reason I really like this neighborhood is you've got those flatter lots again, and it does kind of have that combination of flatter lots, a little bit more trees throughout the neighborhood, but you're getting into that feel of kind of that Santa Fe feel. It feels a little bit more like New Mexico in this area. So a lot of my clients, they really want that kind of forested feel. They really want to be right in the mountains, and you're definitely not in the mountains here. But what you are getting is you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. You're getting a lot more purchasing power in this neighborhood. When I look at homes in here, I think, hey, if this home was up in the Animas Valley, it's going to be $100,000 more or more than that, especially on the acreage that it's on. Now, what's really cool about this neighborhood is it's got 27 acres that are for the HOA, for the neighborhood. Common space, and it's got this really nice pond with a nice picnic bench. It's got a covered area over that picnic bench, and it's got a little gate, so it's kind of protected in there. And this lake is just for the owners of this neighborhood. Now, as you enter the neighborhood, there's a bridge that goes over the Florida River, and this bridge was actually in the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So I really found that really cool. And then as you pass that bridge, the pond is right there on your right-hand side, right as you enter the neighborhood. The roads are gravel and they are maintained really well. And it's kind of rolling hills throughout the neighborhood. So you don't have any real steep driveways. That's something I like to really emphasize as you're looking just in general, to make sure you're aware of steeper driveways, longer, steeper driveways, because that means in the winter, you've got a lot more to deal with as far as snow. Snow removal, road grading, and dust control is handled. Again, that maintenance of 27 acres with the 15 acres along the river. So that is something that a lot of people don't know. You can't really tell that that is part of the neighborhood, but you do have access to that river there living in this neighborhood. So again, just like Florida River Estates, you have access to the river, you've got a really nice pond, and you're still not very far from town. But where this neighborhood really shines is its price points. So you get a lot more bang for your buck in this neighborhood compared to a lot of these others. Now, it's not quite as picturesque as you might be picturing that Colorado landscape feel. You're not right in the mountains. You don't have a lot of forested lots here, but if you like those views, you do have a lot of homes with views of the La Plata Mountains still. So it's not like you're back, really far from town where you have no views, and you're still really close to town. So I think there's a lot of things to really weigh out if you like this neighborhood, and if you want to be, let's say, below 800, 700,000. Now, by the way, guys, like I mentioned earlier, my name's John Bird, and I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. If you're even thinking about moving to Durango, give me a call or text. Be happy to help you out with all of your real estate needs. Looking forward to connecting with you guys. We'll see you later.